just me just trying to give myself a signal that I've started recording. Welcome to the Bricks and Business Podcast.
The last episode of the Bricks and Business Podcast.
This is episode 3 of Force Focus. This is what we are building today. This is the new Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter. We are on the third part of this set because we are slow at building things. This is only 1,000 pieces for 2 people. We're very slow.
Very slow.
We're going to finish it today.
Are we?
I only have 2 bags left. You have 1 bag left. I think that's
a bag. It's basically half the size of your bags.
Yes. Which this is basically how it always goes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. We're going to get started here. I recorded content Friday. And I did it on my own, just like with a 2-camera setup, but I used ChatGPT as my assistant to like ask me questions.
Okay.
And, like actually having her voice like talk out loud. Its voice. I gentrified it.
Genderfied it?
Genderfied it. That's
you
a great
use
hack.
Scarlett Johansson's voice?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Even though they say that it wasn't and it isn't. And yeah.
But yeah, if you're making content on your own, I highly recommend that. It was great.
To interview yourself.
Interview yourself
Basically.
because I didn't have to prep at all. I just sat down, hit record, and I opened chat and was like, ask me questions about my thing. And it did. And it was great.
Watson likes to play 20 questions
With chat.
So, and then he was asking it questions about Minecraft or something. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what he was asking.
That's where I am. I had it tell my kids a story and like include them in the story. So it did like a Spider-Man one and like a superhero one, and then it did a haunted house one. That was pretty cool.
Were they like the main characters, or were they?
They were like
side characters.
Well, in the haunted house one, they were main characters. They like went to the house, and I like clarified like, "Hey, this is a 4 and a 2-year-old. We don't need anything super scary. Like,
we don't need
let's
to
tone it down a little bit.
them?
No, we do not need to terrify my kids. That just creates more problems for me. I forgot to turn the slide on. I'm gonna do that.
Seems reasonable. Somehow I got ahead of myself and behind at the same time.
Ahead and behind at the same time.
Yeah, I missed a step or something, but I got it now.
You got it. You didn't stop like at the end of a bag. You had leftover stuff.
Right, because we were like, we have to be done now.
Oh, gotcha.
There was something else going on, so.
Oh, yeah, there were other podcasts being recorded that day.
So.
Yes, we're going to knock this out today.
So you said you had things to show me.
I do have something to show you, and it is on my phone. I can actually pull it up on my iPad. I think I can pull it up faster on my computer.
So last week I basically was off all week, but still running 2 businesses.
So you weren't that off.
I kept saying I wasn't going to come back, and then I kept showing up back here.
I know.
But my wife went to Knoxville, and she sent me 2 requests over the course of the week.
Mm-hmm.
They were both expense requests. She wants a new couch.
Mm-hmm.
Which is reasonable. Our couch kind of doesn't serve us well. It doesn't suck. It just
could be better.
Not for us.
Yeah.
And can we move to Tennessee?
Just like hey.
I just ignored both of these requests because my brain was not able to make those decisions while not having someone else helping me with children.
All right, here's what I was going to show you.
You can't fix the darkness.
Can't fix the darkness.
Today is Mia's first day at the podcast.
Ooh, happy birthday.
So I have our little button-up shirt. Just get all of your clothes on. Or a jersey or something. Oh yeah, just like. Yeah.
I'm tiny. I'm tiny.
I thought you'd like that.
tiny. The Tiny Black Richard podcast.
Could do that one day. We'll just get a tiny person in here. Yeah. Montgomery can just sit here.
That would be funny with Montgomery, though.
Sure. Just get all of your clothes on. Or a jersey or something. Oh yeah, just like. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tiny
That's
It
great.
was a very rough,
That's great.
quick
Yeah, but
kind of effect. It actually, I was glad at one point you got up and then sat back down. So I found where you got up, and like that was the background. And then all I had to do is mask you.
Okay.
And then I had to mask the table in front of you. So like I kind of
legs.
sandwiched table, tiny Seth, fake background, and then I was able to shrink you down. And I pitched your voice up. And actually, you didn't snap loud enough, so I had to add a snap sound effect.
I
was
want to
fun.
record a lot of Tiny Seth
Yeah.
content, and then we'll just put Tiny Seth in things. So
You just need a
like,
green screen, and it's
you
a lot
could
easier.
put Tiny Seth on that shelf over there,
Yes.
just like for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I just walk over, put my legs over, sit down.
Yeah.
So
That would be good.
yeah, you have so much fun with editing the BBR, even though you sound like you hate it.
When I think this is an ADHD thing. I'm borderline ADHD, but when people tell me to do something,
Borderline
I
jokester.
kind of buck against it. But if I have the idea, or if you do a fix it and post joke and I happen to catch it and I know it only takes me a sec or like maybe 20 minutes to do the effect, then I'm
That
like,
goes
this would be fun.
A sec to 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, I thought I would go ahead and make that a very realistic. That way you don't think it actually takes a second. It takes a little bit to make that stuff.
I tend to have these same situations happen. I'll notice, like, I'm really good at emergency. So if someone's like, my thing is broken, I need it fixed, I can fix it.
Yeah.
No problem. Hey, I need a logo. Okay. Tell me what you want. Okay. Cool. 3 weeks later, hey, did you get that logo done yet? No. Well, why not? Well, you didn't really give me a deadline. There was no urgency in this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The urgency. Yeah, that's the...
I hate it when people go, we're not in any hurry. No, stop it. You're in
like,
a
you
hurry.
want this to ever get
you're
done?
faster. Like my friend Tommy, poor guy, been working on the same project since Mia was here last summer.
Oh my
For
gosh,
him,
why?
And I'm not done. Well, it was more complicated than expected, but also like I didn't get excited about it. So problem.
Yeah.
So I can't find it, Landon. And
Are
usually
you missing something?
it's one of these little pieces that's just like a single nub,
Yeah.
but
That...
it's like this.
A
but
Technic
half.
piece? Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary. Every piece
Yeah.
is
Well, when we
necessary.
find it later. Ah, shit! It is necessary.
Yeah.
Right there. Very quickly, it became
Did it
necessary.
fall on the floor? Check the floor. We're on gray carpet, so I know that's convenient. You know, I might have seen a piece fall.
In an episode.
Well, like after I was cleaning up, I might have seen a piece.
Ah, crap.
You might be screwed.
Okay.
Because I was trying to think of like when checking that spare parts box behind you underneath the minis. No. That gray box. Because I know we have spare parts in there. Maybe you could find it in an alternate color. Worst case scenario. I don't use worst case scenario properly ever. I
Yeah,
just
that
throw
one
it out
didn't-
there.
that
No,
one
that
didn't
didn't
work.
make sense.
Okay, I found one that will work.
You did?
It's white instead of gray.
Well, maybe you could use that
that's okay.
temporarily, and then
If we find it.
if it pops up, yeah.
That's convenient that it was here.
That's why you keep your spare parts, just in case. Just in case.
Oh.
But yeah, ChatGPT is a great hack for doing solo content. I would highly recommend that. I came in here and just banged out like a bunch of videos, so it's great. Yeah.
I've asked Laura to come in here and bang out a bunch of videos.
Oh my God.
She won't. So speaking of chat and what all it can do. So, okay. So, my electricity. at
Yeah,
my
I
house.
saw.
Okay.
You sent me something about that.
Yes. So 6 years ago when I signed up for my electricity company, it was great. It was like 9 cents per kilowatt hour,
Nice.
which
That's super
I
low.
looked at it and it was like the Texas average cost for a kilowatt hour of electricity in the state of Texas to produce was like 8.3 cents. The year
man.
that I signed up for 9 cents, and I signed up for 3 years, and somehow my company changed, but my rate stayed the same. And then when I renewed, they kept my old rate. So I had 6 years of really
nice.
affordable, really, really affordable energy. Well, this year came around. And they were like, well, that's not happening again. And they
Naturally,
jacked
they're
up my
like,
rate.
"Wait,
Jacked up my rate to 22 cents.
22.
Yeah. So I was like, okay,
They more than doubled your
That's
rate.
not good, right? And so I had been looking at different electricity companies, and I have some friends that they run Just Energy, okay? And so I ran the numbers with Just Energy, and it seemed really, really good. So they offer free nights. Okay, that's what their product is.
It's like old cell phone plans.
Yeah.
Free nights and weekends.
So, however, we are a homeschool family.
Yeah.
So that doesn't matter to us.
Right.
Like our kids are home all day. There's not like a downtime for air conditioning.
Right.
And so when I kind of got the pitch for this thing, for this free nights, it was my understanding, and I think that I should have asked more questions. So let's just get real with that. My understanding was the way that it was pitched was daytime hours minus nighttime hours. So if I used 1,000 kilowatt hours during the day, and then whatever I used at night was subtracted from that. Okay?
Okay.
So if I use 1,000 daytime hours, 200 nighttime hours, or 200 nighttime kilowatt hours, I would be billed for 1,000 minus 200, which is 800. Okay?
Okay.
That was my understanding. I did all my calculations on it. It gave me, from my last year's bill, an average of $195 a bill, which was about $20 more than I've paid in the past.
Not too
So
bad.
I thought, great, this will be great. I'm happy with this. I got my first bill.
Uh-oh.
It was total minus nighttime. So it was 1,200 minus 200, which was 1,000. So I'm only paying during the day, which makes total sense. Okay.
Yeah.
That's free nights. That makes sense. Okay. But what I was pitched was something a little bit different than that.
Yeah.
And even I did the math and showed them the math, and they agreed that that's how it's supposed to be. So if you are not home, if no one is at home all day, this is a wonderful program.
Right.
Free nights is a wonderful thing. Just Energy does free nights from 9 to 7. So you're going to be paying for like your 6 to 9 electricity and then nothing else. And if you have a smart car, electric car, you can tell it to charge during the nighttime hours. There's a couple other programs that are out there that actually like save money because you have an electric car, things like that. But so I get all of this. I'm trying to like figure it out and look at all the billing and everything and how it works. And I get my bill. And again, we are a homeschool family, so we use electricity all day. My bill showed me the calculation that is the reality. And so I plugged all of that in to what my past year was. And it was not $15 more a month. It was $215 more a month. So I very quickly.
Yeah. Like, we need to fix this.
So, and to calculate all this, Texas Smart Meter, which is, I believe, an AEP program, it registers your electricity usage every 15 minutes. And it saves that, and you can download that as a CSV file.
Okay.
So I did that for the full year. That's how I could calculate everything. Well, I wasn't going to figure out the math with a spreadsheet. I just gave the spreadsheet to chat and said, how much electricity did I use over the year on average during these times?
Nice.
And it's able to pull it. And in fact, I pulled the data exactly what Just Energy had and exactly what Texas Smart Meter had, and it was right. Like, there was no question there that they're doing the math properly.
That's good.
But they're charging me 33 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
When I thought it was 33 cents per kilowatt hour daytime and negative 33 cents nighttime, and that's the calculation I did, it was great. Not so great. So.
That's rough.
So
are you shopping for plans?
Well, so what I did was I quickly called Just Energy and said, hey, this is not what I anticipated happening. And they said, well, conveniently, you can change your plan because you signed up through Sam's Club. You can change your plan for free. You can cancel for free. No problem. So I was like, okay, let's change our plan. What are our options? And they came back with like a pretty good option that made it about 15 cents, which is pretty average right now.
Yeah.
So that happening was, it's like, okay, this works. And the lady on the phone, when I was kind of changing it up, she said, and we might be able to back reference your bill. And I was like, that would be really great. Well, so then what I did was I asked chat, I said, hey, this is what's going on. What's my best steps here? And it came back and said, well, so there's two options, powertochoose.com, which is great option. It tells you all the electricity options in your area. It's a big deal. And then another one called Energy Ogre.
Energy Ogre.
Yeah. And so what Energy Ogre does is you tell it what your rate is and stuff. And it comes back to you and says, if you sign up for our program, this is how much money we'll save you. And what they do is it's $120 a year, so $10 a month. And they flip-flop your electricity provider constantly. Like, whenever it's better to be somewhere else, right?
They just like swap
and they
it.
just do it. And after signing up for electricity recently, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense because it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And if you guys are doing it automatically, cool. So what I did was I went online to Power to Choose. I found a couple of electricity companies. And so what they provide, legally required to provide, is an EFL statement, which I don't know what that means, electricity fax label or something like that. But basically says this is how much our electricity will cost you, which is awesome. It's great. It's super helpful, easy to use. And so I told chat, I said, here's all my usage in the last year. Now please, look at all of this and tell me what the best, what my rate was. And then here are a bunch of EFLs, and I gave it to him, and I said, compare all of these. Mm-hmm. So what it did was it pulled the statements from the EFL, which has to say very specifically how it calculates your bill. Okay?
Okay.
On the EFL. Now, it's complicated how they calculate your bill, but it has to be, the formula has to be on the sheet.
Okay.
So I give that all to chat, and chat spits out, it's like, this is your best choice right here. And it gave me 3 options. It kind of was like, well, if you really care about reusable energy, this is your best option.
Okay.
If you really care about money, this is your option. If you really care about taking advantage of product or services, like if I had an EV, it would be better.
Yeah.
So it was really great, to be able to see it all, and it kind of chat explained how it did the calculations for each step.
Dude.
So it was awesome, and I ended up finding so the new Just Energy, the original thing was not good for us at all. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's good for a bunch of people. It's not good for us. Well, then the second Just Energy option was really pretty good, but ended up saving $300-400 a year, $200-300 a year on electricity if I went with this other company. Tri-Eagle is the company. And I signed up for 3 years because I've looked at the electricity rates for the last few years, and they're all
they're never going down.
They change all the time.
Yeah.
And they keep going up. So I Tri-Eagle was great. It will work for my family. And then but it was amazing, just for it to tell me.
Yeah.
It could compare all that. And so then I go back to Energy Ogre and ask, and it has its own system, and you plug in all your information, and it's straight up, hey, we're not going to be able to save you any money. You picked the best option. Good job. But when you need us, we're here.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even hey, sign up for a $10 a month program, even though you don't need it. I was very happy with that. So I'd recommend, if you're somebody that struggles to figure that out, Energy Ogre for $10 a month would be awesome. It would be very helpful.
I would be an Energy Ogre user because that was the most confusing thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm glad ChatGPT worked for you.
Yes.
Because I have no idea what you just said. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I tried really hard to be able to follow all the different technical. I'm glad you have the energy and the motive.
Well, when I got that
find all that
electricity bill,
stuff.
that was the motive. When I got my electricity bill of $277
Bro.
for 3 weeks in May.
My electric bill on a good month is about $350.
So what we need to do is
what I need is insulation in my attic.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly super concerned about that right now.
Yeah, okay.
I'm waiting for how this week's going to go, and then we'll see.
If you need to change, I can help you.
Yes.
We could maybe do it live on here. That'd be fun.
There you go.
And show other people how. But also, I was looking at insulation situations.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, I messaged one guy, and he got back to me really quickly, and he told me he appreciated that I was a teacher at ASU.
Yeah.
And here's your teacher discount, And so that was great. And it was like $2,500. And I texted somebody that I trust, and I was like, hey, how does this seem good? And they were like, yeah, I think so. And then I texted somebody else, and they were like, stop, don't do that. And I was like, wait, what? And they said, you probably qualify for this program. Let's find out. And apparently there's an AEP program that will help you do this.
Yeah.
And it cost me $400.
Nice.
So that's going to happen in like 3 weeks, I think.
See, when we first got our house 2 years ago, we looked into that program where it's just like, it's an installation company that comes around that gets grants and rebates for the jobs that they do. Yep. And so there's like, we don't care. Like at one point they were doing it all for free because of like like a bunch of grants that were going around.
Well, mine would be free if I didn't have gas at all.
Gotcha. See, we don't. But when we looked into that 2 years ago, they were like, you've had this done. Like, you use this program too recently.
Oh,
but we
gotcha.
only have, like, maybe 4 to 6 inches of insulation in our ceiling.
Yeah. I have no idea what the sufficient amount of insulation
24 inches.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I've looked into renting an insulation blower and, like, how much blow-in insulation costs and, like, what the process. I've watched the tutorial, like the YouTube tutorial, to see, like, is this too complicated for me? And it's not. Like, I've built a van, like I can put insulation in my ceiling, but I've converted a Sprinter van into an RV. I didn't build a van from scratch. I didn't, craft a diesel engine, but, yeah, it's doable. I need to look back at it because maybe we do. And I was looking, but I got a job offer that I may be taking potentially. It just depends on how that pans out. So, but Bricks and Business will live on because this is way too much fun for me. And apparently Lauren said her and Laura were talking about doing a podcast.
I'm sure they
as well. And she was like, well, we just need to come in once a month and do podcasting. I was like, sure. You get Saturdays, we'll get Sundays, and you guys bang out like 4 episodes, and we'll bang out 4 episodes.
Love it. When do I get to bang out 4? Let me make that joke
I can never
twice.
say bang out without Seth saying that joke. But yeah. So we'll kind of see if that comes through. It depends on how much they're willing to pay. I think if I took their initial offer, I would probably take it. They would take me, but it's just not quite enough money for our family.
To move.
To move to Marble Falls, right? Like, that's a bit of a move. It's not the end of the world, but it will take some effort.
Oh, man.
There we go. I did that wrong.
Good grief. This is cool, but good grief.
Dude, some of the things that Lego does just to make things easier and cooler, like there's this little rubber piece in here for the landing gears that just like cushion it a little bit.
So that it doesn't hurt.
So that it's less likely to break. Like they just think about every piece. Yeah. It's so intentional. Even for something that's just like, oh, look, a spaceship. But like when you're in the process of building it, they just think of all these cool things that make me geek out a little bit.
So also using ChatGPT. So I got this letter. It's from Fort Concho Elementary.
Nice.
It's a thank you letter. It says, "Thank you for your support while our program grows," and it's signed by all the kids. We love your design. Thank you. Thank you for the new logo. Thank you for helping us. With all these kids' terrible handwriting, it was great. But
cute.
So Chat made this. Dolly made this, and the way Dolly made this, focus.
It's trying to focus on me.
Yeah, focus. There you go. The way Dolly did this is my friend Amy, who's their teacher, Mrs. Ferguson. She said, "Seth, can you help me? We need a better logo." And I said, "Yeah, sure. Let me see what I can do." So I just took what she already had, put it into Dolly, and said, "Make this better." And it spit that out. And I was like, well, I'm done. Here you go.
I love that. Because otherwise that would cost like $700 from like a professional illustrator.
Yeah. So.
And like it would have never gotten done. It's not like it's, that person missed out on money. It's like, no, it would just.
Yeah, it would have
stayed a bad logo.
Because they don't have a budget for that.
No.
And so, I was just like, well, that'll be fun. And it'll be awesome. Like, I think I asked Amy, I said, is there a way to, like, since I did that, like, get my logo on, like, San Angelo Studios logo on something, Or, like, I even asked if I could just sponsor, can San Angelo Studios sponsor something? And she was like, yeah, we'll work that out. So I don't know if I'm going to pay for it or if they're going to slap my name. I said, to be honest, I'd like the San Angelo Whiskey Collective to sponsor it, but obviously that's not happening.
That's funny.
So that was good, and I'm really glad like the kids like it because she told me that the kids like it, but and I get this letter that the kids like it, but I actually like went and saw the kids at an event, and they were like, "This is awesome. We love it."
Oh, is that the Fort Con show, or is like the stock show robotics competition thing? Nice.
So, I've been involved in this. My friend Patrick, he got me involved in it a long time ago when I was his intern, and I've just always loved doing it and pretty much try to get out to every Lego robotics opportunity that there is. And they're switching around to other kits and stuff that I don't know as well. But,
right.
But like, I've very much have always enjoyed watching the kids learn about this stuff and build this stuff and do different. I have a bunch of pictures of the different items that they've made or like the inventions from this year.
Yeah.
I went around and asked each group, I was like, can I take pictures of your invention? So what they do is they come up with their own problem and solve it with a Lego robot.
Nice.
So
I had Lego Mindstorms back in the day, which was the robotics kits.
Yeah.
And I had the camera version as well that I could set up and like set off an alarm if somebody walked into my room. Wow. I did stop motion, like Lego videos at one point. I didn't get very far in it because it's so tedious and I didn't have the attention span. But yeah, that stuff is fun. And that's the stuff I grew up on. It was great. Shout out to my parents for buying me Lego robot stuff. Mm-hmm. That was a blast. My kid will definitely have all that stuff too one day. Right now, he's starting to get more and more into like making his own Lego creations instead of like kits, because we just dumped all the Lego pieces that we have into a chest in our living room, so he can like just play with it anytime. And now Evie's kind of starting to get into it as well, which is really fun. It's fun just seeing like the circle of life. They're like, we grew up with Lego, and now like our kids are doing that too, which is validating. I was like, okay, it was fun back in the day. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was a nerd, but at least it was proof to be fun. You break something?
Well, I don't know how. It says like you can get this. You can put this little like compartment down here, but like I'm struggling to get the. It's like connected somehow. Damn it. Come out. Whoop.
There goes something. You're about to fall over. So how is the Whiskey Collective going? I know is it growing a little bit? I know you got Garrison Brothers coming in this week, which is really
Garrison
fun.
Brothers is coming this week, and I'm hoping I got to send an email today just to like reiterate to everyone, like, you need to have registered, and like this time, I'm going to make people like. I'm going to be like, well, you're not on the list. If you would like to be on the list, go outside, get on the list, and come back in.
Why is that helpful?
Because
So you can know who to expect.
Yeah, and I kind of want to actually just tell them like, sorry, you didn't register, like,
You're screwed.
but I also know that there's a couple people that won't, or that will forget, or whatever.
Especially if they're like founding members and stuff.
And so I don't know how serious I will be, but I will.
You'll attempt to be.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope. Look, there's a whole compartment just for the lightsaber.
Oh, nice. That's really fun.
So, yeah, but Whiskey Collective's going good, but I think I'm supposed to I'm supposed to do a golf tournament on Friday, but I haven't heard anything from them. Ooh.
That shit's really far.
I have those.
I just lost those pieces.
Yeah.
We're never finding those again.
But
A golf tourney?
yeah, I haven't heard from
Are
them.
you sponsoring it or?
Well, so this was the coolest thing is for the Chamber Classic, someone else paid, but it was a paid spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fine. But for this one, it sounded like they were going to pay us. So I had to follow up with them because
Oh, that.
we need to get the whiskey. So yours did that, and mine does it too.
I'm so glad I was wearing
Yeah, I
glasses
know.
because that shot me straight in the
that's
eye.
Perfect.
So we got landing gears here.
You have landing gear?
Yeah.
My Sith guy doesn't give a shit about landing gear.
We park responsibly
My
and
guy just crashes on the ground.
in the rebellion. I still have.
Mine just crashes.
Just chuck it. Nice.
Look
That's
at all these extra pieces. You're a person. Wait, why do we have 2 extra people?
I have a person for this. I don't know.
It's like a Sith lady. I don't know. She has a red lightsaber. You sit
I keep
there.
bumping this. So for the podcasting studio, that's something we do together. That's
Yeah.
businessy. I added a couple things to our Amazon shopping list. One of them is nicer arms
Okay.
because this is like a little sad.
Yeah.
It works. And I think these are just laying around and we just started using them.
Yeah, we didn't buy these.
So
We bought the stands, but the stands don't work
the stands
for everything.
came with this. Yeah. And people who like to like sit
Yeah.
back during a podcast, like you need to be able to move
Yeah.
the mic towards you.
So these were just left by Kyle, I think.
Nice. And we used them, hijacked them, whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
stole them. And so I added that. And then I also, if and when we do the 4K capture cards, we could have just like a single TV like mounted to the ceiling and over there that shows like the live feed
Oh, okay.
with the switching and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that would be,
We'd still have these.
you could,
or-
well, no, you actually can't because
It wouldn't be necessary anymore.
the HDMI out is going to be taken by the 4K capture card. So you need a
Gotcha.
splitter and then you're just getting into more complication.
Okay.
So-
there's not another TV over there.
Yeah, you'd be able to get rid of some of these.
Cool.
Looks like it kicked me off of live probably because I wasn't touching it on TikTok. So Yeah, I found a TV mount for the ceiling that was pretty good. I found like a 43-inch TV, which I think is pretty good size for
Okay.
being like over there. It doesn't need to be huge necessarily, and I wanted it to be kind of light
Oh, okay.
and not take up a lot of space. You could go huge if you wanted, but I also
Well,
didn't want it to be a distraction necessarily.
I have a bunch of 42s somewhere around
really?
this building,
Nice.
but if we needed a reason to upgrade, like, I don't know, say the lobby
There you
TV
go.
to like an 85-inch, we could move that 60-inch in here.
Yeah.
55-inch in here.
As long as the way we mount the ceiling mount
Yeah.
is super sturdy, then that's fine.
Okay.
That was the only concern. Was
Does
like
it have to be a ceiling mount?
it doesn't have to, but
just be a
if it was something that was just like completely out of the way, nothing was attached to the wall, you know, and it was just like in that corner,
Yeah.
that would be cool, but not necessary.
Okay. We'll figure that out.
And then I noticed a couple of guests, they get super close,
Even
breathy.
closer than they're
Yeah,
supposed
like-
to be.
Well, and they'll like breathe out while the other person's talking. And so I got like yeah, which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
In the recording, people don't like to wear headphones on camera, which is fair. But I got some like windscreens that I put on there too, to kind of cut some of that back. Because we tried pop filters and those sucked. Like you had to like adjust them and all this stuff, and it just
Pop filters.
yeah, it's this little circle
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
attaches here, and
Yes.
then you have to like, yeah, it's annoying. And then it takes up more of your face. So that's never fun.
Gotcha.
But yeah, podcasting studio will be fun to just keep going with. I don't know, like with me potentially moving, I definitely still think that would be a fun thing
No,
to
I think this
continue.
I think this thing can work really well.
Especially
now,
if it's
now that we
automated.
kind of have a good line on how this service can work,
Yeah.
and then you've kind of figured out a lot of the automation.
Yeah.
So it'd be really easy from an automation standpoint to like, or from a business standpoint, is like here are the services we offer, and it is a start to finish
Yeah.
situation. Like it's automated, whatever, and here's how that works. And then if you want more than that, which I would say, like, come try out our automation.
Yeah.
Like so it costs about $300 a month for you to be a member here. I'm thinking the automation, we add something to pay for more things in here.
Like a podcast package.
yeah, so
for
like-
San Angelo Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the automation part can, like, one, it can kind of like fund parts of this space, but two, like some percentage maybe goes to you to keep like troubleshooting it with me as I need it.
Right.
And then whether you're here or not. And then there's another package where they just get on the phone with you and say, I want this huge package that you do everything. And if that's something like you're able to accomplish beyond without being here,
Right.
which I think you could.
As long as I had the files.
You
yeah.
have the file and you have the time. But like then that person would then just it would not be through San Angelo Studios. It would just be an alternative.
Yeah.
Like you can take these files that you already pay for. The $300 a month takes care of this. Then those files go to you, and then you bill them however much you need to bill them to handle the rest of it. But the automation part, I think that's where in the past I was like, let's build the automation part to like just add into the $300 a month.
Yeah.
But like, how does that really like? It's such a huge extra that you're not having to pay for.
Yeah.
Like you're not having to pay for an editor, and to just say, oh, for $100 extra, you get this. And then people go, why would I not pay that?
Yeah.
And that way it's 300 plus the $100. That also sets like people upstairs that are already using the space. Like this is how you get the upgrade.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a very much like first time is free, like just so you see how easy this is.
Yeah.
How helpful it is and whatever. But then it's like, well, now like help pay for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're having to buy hardware. You're spending a lot of time troubleshooting it. So I think that would not be a terrible.
Yeah. Well, and Lauren and I were talking, even if we are in Marble Falls or something, we're going to want to come back here, like probably close to monthly.
Yeah,
in
your
order
family's
to
here.
see family, to see you guys, to do stuff here in San Angelo. Who knows, we may end up renting our house out versus selling it, just depending on how the market goes.
I mean, that's a good investment strategy. If the new job allows for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
But we were just kind of playing with those ideas, but we both were like, yeah, we definitely want to be, and it's only 2 hours and 45 minutes away from here to Marble Falls. Oh, for me, it's closer to 2:15 maybe because I have a heavier foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if it was like a computer, the only thing I can think of that would create a technical issue or a frustration is when people are doing podcasts in here and I'm helping them, I'm doing a lot of the production setup and we're changing the setup quite a bit.
Yeah.
If this is like fully automated, I think we may have to be like, this is the setup. We have a table with 3 mics. You can remove a mic. That's fine. But like, don't touch anything because if you want to be able to hit one button to record, it's going to like, this is the setup.
Yeah. Well, and I think like one of the things that we could definitely change, because I saw some images of the very beginning before we put that thing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of like that a lot. So
Before this? Yeah.
And so
This is just like a placeholder. I feel like we could even just put a curtain there.
Well, I was thinking what would be really neat is if we could put like that, like something like that size there, and then as a green screen kind of thing. And like if there was a way to automate throwing something on there, like their logo or whatever, that's just like a predetermined thing, for part of onboarding or whatever, and like this file, throw this file there,
this PNG file,
and that way Bricks and Business could have their own, BBR could have its own, Matt could have his own, instead of Matt pulling out that big banner, like he could just have his thing. And then I think it would not be complicated during the next year to have 2 settings. So this one and maybe this soft seats. Because with Tyler or Mia here, like I can coach them how to move furniture.
Right.
And like take these off, swap them out. Because like I think that having at least those 2 options, and like then you can turn this table however you want, or add the other table if you want it, or what, like that kind of thing, but not a million different
configurations.
And like we'd put 2 configurations in here, and the cameras don't change. Like that'd be good.
One thing I saw a lot of podcasters, like I just pay attention to like the setups now. But one thing I saw a lot of people doing is they'll have a floor stand for their mics and then like boom arms that come out. So like that would be easier to move around than a table like this. And like taking these out and then like putting them in a coffee table, and then like
you're
setting
saying
that
like
up. Like have the mics completely separated from the table. Which is helpful because when you hit the table, you like hear it in the mic anyway.
Well, remember so Matt by the stream, they have that rig that's up there.
Yeah.
that like has all these like pull downs and ups and all that stuff. And I would not be against switching back to like considering that.
Yeah.
Just to like, because then you can run everything up there, move it around how you need it, and then just pull the mics where you need them to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know how all that worked over there, but it like the way that they did it looks really nice.
Well, they have a really big studio space too. If it was in here and everything was basically always pointed over here, you could just have lights mounted to the ceiling with something like the TV mount.
Yeah.
And especially if there's no monitor, then at least light stands are off the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, because you put
could
the lights
adjust
in.
that a little bit.
You can do the pull down for the mics, and then just the cameras be where they are.
Well, and the mics we would have to see with having them be down like that, like who knows? Because then, like, if you have a straight line in your face, that's
yeah, that's
weird. Why
weird.
having them lower is helpful. I would probably still default to like having some kind of arm like this.
Yeah.
Or like using one of those boom stands, because you could have 2 or 3 mics on that same boom stand.
Yeah.
Or you could just have it off to the side and over, and then you could have them be separate. So you could have like 3 like floor arms.
I see.
For that. Yeah. And then like, cool, you want to move the table out real quick and put the chairs in? Like the mic stand just gets moved to the side.
A short one of these.
Yeah, so like the C stand except off the floor. Like it's a large iron circle and then it goes up and then it's like way shorter.
Oh, okay.
Way shorter.
Kind of like what they use at church.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Something like that.
A longer arm, but yeah.
Well, it's like an arm that comes across. So something like that could potentially be the move as opposed to attaching it to the furniture in the space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then you can just move that in and out.
That makes sense.
And then especially if like the lights are off the floor and some of the cables are off the floor, then it's like having that on the floor isn't as big of a tripping hazard or whatever.
Yeah. So do you really think that that TikTok I sent you, where it was like a bunch of different camera, like it was really fast camera angle movement, that was for 360 cams?
That was one 360 cam.
Oh, okay.
From what I could tell.
I thought you said 4.
No, that's the Insta360 X4.
X4. Oh, I thought it was times 4.
No.
Like, get this, times 4.
No. That's just one camera right in the middle of their setup for a band or whatever.
It was... So it was like very much camera movement. Okay, so just one camera.
That's just one Insta360 X4.
Yeah.
That's in the middle, and
It's like
they're
hanging down, and then they're
either hanging down or on tripod because
Yeah.
it makes the tripod invisible
Right.
when it's on the floor, and then it just pans around. I've thought about doing that for like a podcast, but then like this seems like a bit more traditional podcast setup.
With that, like, I wonder, like, can you predetermine like shots?
I don't know.
Because like
I haven't
the
played with their
Mevo
software.
camera, you can predetermine shots.
Yeah.
The Wise cameras that I just put upstairs, you can, like that camera right there, I can predetermine like, here are the shots I want you to check.
Yeah.
And then just move around like that. So it'd be interesting to think like if you could have that wherever, just on the table, and then it predetermines a shot of you and a shot of me, and then we still have that, but like how pain in the ass would the editing be with that?
I think I could potentially export like just your angle and just my angle for the duration of the podcast, and then put that in Autopod and it does its thing. Right?
Okay.
but you would need to attach the audio to that camera angle. And then when you're adding like a bunch of Seth angles as opposed to just one Seth angle, then it's going to be jumping between those, and it could be a little bit awkward. It's like but if that was just a replacement for the entire setup, it's like one 360 cam, maybe. But I think the quality would suffer versus like what we currently have going.
Well, and like if you, it's almost like if that was your gimmick, right? Like that's one of our gimmicks, right?
Right.
Is the above camera. It's like if one of your gimmicks is like a 360 camera.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
$500 isn't a gimmick for me right now, but
yeah. I mean, it's possible. There's really creative ways you can use that for sure. Like even with that Insta360 Go 3 that I have, like you can use it like a GoPro, but you can also use it as like a circular video that I've used for like horizontal and vertical within the same clip. So like there's stuff you can do.
yeah.
And I can adjust the field of view like custom wise and stuff. So
Interesting.
there's interesting stuff you can do. I like having just a small camera in like a random spot or something.
Yeah, if it's neat when you get to think about it.
Yeah.
Like when you start playing with it. And I mean, my question on that is, I mean, they obviously had to like practice that song to like play that song, right? But like how many times did they run that recording and how long did it take to edit? Because it could have been like really great.
Yeah.
You know, like a really easy, you know, we uploaded it and then we just said, here are the shots or make, you know, or was it like, you know, lots of work that somebody put into it?
Yeah. For what I remember about that, like their 360 software is there's like a performance mode where you can like do it live and it'll record your keyframes live and then you can go back and tweak it. Okay. It's like if you already had an idea, you know, of like what you wanted to do, there's even a version where you can like move around like the 360 area to like be able to like look at certain things, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah.
Software makes it a lot easier for sure. As opposed to before where you'd have to like import that into like Premiere and like be able to do a whole 360 camera workflow, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
I tried playing with it one time, and it's so obnoxious.
Apparently the piece I needed was in yours.
Was in this pile?
Yeah.
Oh,
because,
man.
well, and what is probably the case is yours were bags 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and mine was the next set.
Yeah.
So it probably just, they assumed that you would pull it from the other set. So fixing that. So
we cleared off some of the garden last night, and I got so many cactus needles in my hands through my gloves.
oh, fun.
So obnoxious.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't do yard work. When I was a kid, I got punished by yard work, so now I don't do it. And my mom was like, "You're not gonna. What about Watson? Is he not gonna do yard work?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want him to do yard work because I don't want him to feel punished by it." And she was like, "Well, you're gonna do the opposite." And I was like, "Yeah, I'd rather that." I mean, the opposite is he hires someone else to do it when he's older, and he might, if he's mad at me that I didn't teach him how to do yard work, it's like, yeah, so I didn't teach you how to murder people either. Like,
that's the same.
I mean, I didn't, you know, this is like, I didn't, sorry, I didn't make you hate yard work.
It is handy to know how to use tools, but, you know, he has YouTube, and he knows how to use YouTube.
And we've done tools. We just haven't done
Yard tools.
And, like, by the time he is old enough, we'll have only electric mowers, and it'll just be a push start.
Oh, that's what mine is.
and it'll just
Well,
be like,
my big mower's not electric because
Yeah.
that'd be an obnoxiously large battery and it'd be extremely expensive.
but is it a pull start?
no.
Yeah. So I think like that's the
Now my ignition's broken.
learn this, how to pull start an engine.
No, if you can learn some like basics of like how small combustion engines work,
Yeah.
that is a pro.
Yeah.
Because mine would not be working if I didn't have some working knowledge
Right. Yeah.
of a small engine because I bypass the ignition array entirely. So I just go battery to starter,
Yeah.
which is
Well-
not recommended or safe, but it's,
Yeah.
sometimes it decides to work, sometimes it doesn't. And so that's how you get around that.
Well, and I don't like.
And I've replaced all the parts. It's finicky. I bought it's a John Deere, I think D160. It's a 48-inch mowing deck, and I bought it for like $100 because it wasn't working, and it was at a garage sale.
Okay.
And he was like, I don't know how my neighbor got it to work last time, but you could probably figure it out too. And I spent quite a while on that thing, and I finally got it to work. And
Nice.
so that's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I need to sharpen the blades again, but
Well, like knowing
that
how
makes
to
mowing
do
not that
it.
bad.
Yeah.
That's like riding a go-kart around your yard.
Well.
Lauren was like, "Oh, this is fun. I understand why you go mow."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because it's a go-kart.
Yeah. And I don't have as much space as you, so
No,
that's okay though.
I had to fill the tires with expanding foam because they kept popping, and I didn't want
Yeah.
to go buy more tires. So I drilled holes in the tire and just sprayed expanding foam into it, and now they don't go flat.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was like a $20 fix for instead of like a bunch of $100 tires.
Yeah. So this episode, usually these episodes come out like a couple weeks later, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So this week is my, like, it's gonna be crazy. So last week Laura was out, so I was off. So
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot done. I got some done, but not a lot. And this week, she got home last night. She came home. I went to the grocery store. First of all, I saw a friend who was having to discipline his daughter, and it was pretty funny. Like, it was all five of this family, and I could just see it. Like, I could see him and how he was talking to his daughter is like how I talk to Watson when I'm frustrated. And I was like, well, I'm going to walk away. So I went down the aisle, came back up the aisle, and I went over to him. I was like, hey, man, you doing okay? And he goes, sometimes you'd step in front of a train for him, but sometimes you just want to. And conveniently, I've just spent a week with my kids alone, so I completely understood. But also, what was really funny is yesterday morning, I started watching a show called Breeders on FX. The entire premise of the show is I would step in front of a train for my kids, but sometimes I just want to murder them.
Oh, I think
And
is that with Martin something?
yes, Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. Yeah, we watched like half an episode and we didn't get into it, which
wasn't-
is not fair.
it wasn't
a
for
new
you
show.
guys.
No.
But the first episode, I watched it and I thought this is pretty right. Like, so I'm glad I got to pass along a little bit of information to my
Yeah.
friend. And he looks back at me. He goes, because I told him, I was like, I understand, man. It's okay. And he goes, what was that show again? I was like, I told him, I go, don't watch it with your kids. They'll be very terrified of you. But I was like, this is great. So
Nice.
that was last night. Then this morning, got up, got dressed, come into work. Watson's like, can you stay home today? I was like, I stayed home for a whole week. No.
Yeah.
But I booked a babysitter for tonight, so we have date night. And then tomorrow night is business at happy hour for the chamber. Mm-hmm. Then the next night, I will be in Austin for Austin FC game. Then
Thursday
is the Whiskey Collective.
A big one,
And
too.
Friday is the golf tournament. And Friday night is something else. And Saturday is Bennett's recital. And Sunday is the Plateau Brewing Mug Club event.
Jeez.
So I'm going to be very tired
Yeah.
next week. So hopefully I'm able to knock out a bunch of stuff this week, today. And
Yeah, because it's quiet around here for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
There's like nobody here.
nobody comes in
No distractions
except
outside
this.
of
Yeah.
building Lego sets.
So, I'm trying to think of something else that has happened. Yeah.
Really working on these.
I made
huh?
a little fidget toy there. I thought I had somebody that was going to come by the office today.
Well, I have a shoot. I think at 11:45 or 12:45. I don't remember. But
Okay. I'm trying to think of.
What's the next set that you want to do for our next series? You want to do these or do you want to do the helmets? The helmets would look cool in the background,
That's true.
but they are 766 pieces, which for us is about
For
7
each.
episodes. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We could probably. I think at some point, like we don't want an entire year of Star Wars content,
No.
do we? Like we need to do some speed runs for some of these.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw somebody who she builds Lego sets and she puts on the movie in the background while she builds the Lego sets.
We're going to get
And then-
stricken
Well,
for that.
the
aren't
company
you?
send her the Lego sets at this point. But she doesn't, it's not like the whole movie's playing. It's like she cuts pieces quite a bit and she like talks for a minute and then she like cuts her actually building it. And so like you're not actually watching the movie. You're just seeing like frames
Gotcha.
from the movie in the background.
Gotcha.
And she has like companies like Lego and Disney all send her Lego sets now, which is pretty cool.
How do we get that? How do we get that sweet
Yeah,
treatment?
cute female building
Aw,
Lego
man.
sets. Yeah.
What about a transgender female?
You could work towards that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just start putting on a dress.
Who knows? It
That'd
could
be,
work.
That'd be quite the.
And quite the change.
Yeah, I don't know if I could pull it off.
Depends on if you want to pull it off.
I mean, I could pull it off of you if you wanted to wear it. Travis Griffith. They used the lobby this week to do little like promo recordings.
Nice.
So part of the deal is like guerrilla campaign works, right? And my post for Travis would mean more than me just sharing a random like clip, right? So something directly from me means more to my friends. And especially in this election where not only do we have to convince people to vote for Travis, we have to convince people to vote. Like in
For
general.
a chief of police campaign
Yeah.
that it's just like, okay.
Yeah. And so I put out a video and it got like 300 views.
Nice.
It was like just a Facebook story. But what they were doing is they just set up a little space in the lobby and let people come and record
Oh,
their little video,
Nice.
whatever they wanted to say about Travis, and then gave some instructions like you can post it early, but here's when it's most apparent and interesting to post. And so that was pretty good. They had a barbecue thing on Friday for Travis, and I guess like that was pretty good. Me and the kids had brisket, so that was nice.
nice.
Oh man, but this last week was just a lot of me. I mean, I cleaned my garage yesterday. It took a couple hours. I don't know. I haven't been around business lately,
Yeah.
which has been weird.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot to.
Well, a lot of the business stuff that I would normally be interested about is like a little bit on hold because of this job thing that would eliminate Lauren having to have a job, and it would be me doing what I'm doing for other companies for just one company.
Are you? Are they supposed to get back with you today, or?
No, I don't imagine they're going to get back to me on Memorial Day. They're a pretty big
Oh, yeah, that
organization.
makes
They're going to
sense.
be off. But I did talk to the CEO Friday, one of the co-CEOs,
Yeah.
and just basically said like, yeah, like we weren't quite as excited for the other candidates as we were for like what you were saying and what you'd bring to the table. He just had some kind of more in-depth questions for me, more specifics for like what I would plan to do for them and more about me. I think it's questions to see if I would be a culture fit for them in a lot of ways. So I kept it pretty bland. I didn't, go full commie on them or anything like that. So
You didn't share your true.
my
True
true
colors.
feelings about capitalism, no. Cute. New puppies.
Yeah.
Very
I don't know.
nice.
There's the above view.
Yeah.
I forgot I could do that.
But yeah, so that went really well. Lauren is like, oh, they're not gonna. She was like, I think it's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden, no, I don't think it's gonna happen. So she's all over the place for it. Who knows? What's gonna happen, what's not gonna happen. But
I watched the very first episode of Home Improvement last night,
yeah,
and it's Jill finds out she doesn't get the job,
yeah,
but because Mark, the little kid, it's like, Dad already got that phone call.
yeah,
And she's like, when were you going to tell me? And he's like, well, not after I blew up the dishwasher. So, but she was really excited about the job.
yeah.
And then she didn't get it.
Well, and the cool thing
What
is,
the
like, for us, like, it's pros all the way around because we do like our people here in San Angelo, and we do have a house we really like. So it's like, but we do feel like we resonate with Marble Falls a lot. So it's like, okay, well, maybe this job isn't the thing that worked out, but maybe something else will. And now I know based on the market research I did, like, okay, the skills I have can pay the bills for both of us for a company, or
Yeah.
I've just been applying to other similar positions pretty consistently now, just like, hey, specifically like podcast stuff too. I'm like, I can edit your show, I can do all this stuff. So
Oh, we're going. So on Wednesday, so my friend Patrick, who I was his intern, he's probably going to retire soon.
yeah,
Shit. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but I think he's already doing math and stuff. So
well,
I think he's
our
gonna
one viewer, which is me
Yeah.
on Spotify, isn't going to tell anybody.
dope. Okay. So Patrick has talked about wanting to retire
Yeah,
one day. One day. How about that?
one day.
One day.
Who knows when?
And he's been working with this company to roll out a new version of Blackboard. So Blackboard,
For ASU.
Blackboard, or
Yeah. It's Blackboard.
but there's something Ramport, a new version of Ramport,
Gotcha.
which is made by it's like a whole new thing. Like Ramport is how you get into all your stuff at ASU. And Ramport, the old version, they just rolled out the new version, and Patrick's been working on that for a couple of years, like just with a team. It was a big deal. He was considering that like that would be his last big project, which is awesome. But he worked with this company that does consulting for universities and help them do this. So that the CEO of that company is going to the Austin FC game with us on Wednesday because we're both going to ask him for jobs. We're both going to be like, you got things for us to do, because that would be fun.
Yeah.
So I've always liked the idea of higher ed,
Yeah.
but it doesn't pay. Like,
Yeah.
Patrick was there long enough that it took care of him and his family, but it's like he could retire and start a new job with this new company and automatically make more money than he makes now.
Right.
And I've always liked higher education, but I have this newfound desire to find a job that that doesn't necessarily equate my time to money. So like my skill set to money, my abilities to money,
Availability to
and
money.
yeah, maybe. But like the idea is I want to keep running Seth Life. I want to keep running San Angelo Studios. But I'd really love a $40,000 like job that's not,
They don't clock in for.
yeah, that is just like, here, get these
You
things
take
done
care of stuff.
and do this. And so I've even made the joke like with Keen, and this would be hilarious if this ever happened, but Keen keeps like looking at different positions and finding that he's underpaid at one of his positions. And I said, what I need you to do is get into one of these companies, and I need you to figure out at some point, like get to your $200,000 a year job, and then just go. But by the time you're making that kind of money, you're making decisions.
Yeah.
So I need you to invent a position for me that doesn't cost that much.
Yeah.
Then nobody's going to take a second look at it and go, why are we paying that guy $100,000?
Yeah.
But like, why? Oh, we're paying that guy 40 grand. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so I just need a position that like I come in on a meeting once a week or like, and like do some things, but like things that I know could be automated, and like just kind of look at it and go, okay, $40,000. Like it's fine. Right. It's not, it doesn't replace anything.
Yeah.
It's just an add-on, but like, that's what I want. And so if I could find a consulting gig that was just like, I'm in real time, here's $40,000. I'm almost there with one of my companies.
Yeah.
Like how it works. It takes a lot of my time though. And I could lose it at any given time.
Yeah.
So I would love for some company just to hire me to do some of my skill set tasks that maybe other people don't have.
Yeah.
And I'm just more capable, and they're willing to pay for it, just like anybody else is willing to pay for a consultant. So I'm hoping that I'm putting this out there to Keen and Patrick both, is like, if you figure this out,
Yeah.
where you're able to either create a position
Yeah.
that aligns really well with what I'm able to do, like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And to anybody else that has like something like that, like, I think I would be very capable of handling a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I've always looked at getting a real job as it needs to replace my income, but maybe not. Maybe it just needs to supplement my income.
Yeah.
But there's also some limitations on that, is I don't want a job that I have to go into, right? I don't want to go to the office.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on someone else's schedule constantly. Now I'm meeting here or there. I'm always on somebody else's schedule.
Yeah.
But like, if I could find a job that uses skill set, takes care of a little bit of something,
Yeah.
and it's mostly project management or email or answering quick questions, like emergency stuff. I'm good at emergencies, right?
Yeah.
So like, stuff failing, I could stop what I'm doing and help that.
Yeah.
But like, not where I have to do something all day, every day.
I feel the same way that's why I was applying to specifically like remote podcast editing type jobs that would pay similarly. It's like maybe $50,000 a year, maybe less, where I just get files, I put it in Autopod, I make the thing, I polish it up, and then it's done. And then I make some clips. Like that's a client for me, you know. That's like a podcasting client.
Well, and that idea is like, if it's that simple, they also don't want to figure it out. And knowing that you're using your time to better that, like, is helpful. It's kind of like the adjunct situation that I'm in at ASU is like, I'm in business.
Yeah.
So I'm qualified to teach some business stuff, versus like the teachers that are there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's like for some people, that's a gateway to entrepreneurship. It's like they have a side hustle, but they have a job that like doesn't quite, like, it pretty much pays the bills, but then like have the thing on the side.
Yeah. I'm going the other direction.
Yeah. I think that saves people from completely exiting entrepreneurship. Like, if I got the job that I'm talking to these people about, this specific company, I would say I would take that. And then I already told them, it's like, I have a client that's committed a year to me. Like, I need to finish that out, like, through December. And they're like, yeah, that's no problem. They're like, are they a competitor? I was like, no, they're not a competitor.
Yeah.
So, like, I think if I told them, like, I just do podcast editing as a side hustle, like, it doesn't take me any time. I do it on the weekends. So, like, oh, we don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, I could still have Cosmic Arc Media and, like, bring in extra money for savings, for whatever, to pay off debt, whatever, and then have my main job that pays the bills. And then that's just something I do that takes a couple hours, a couple times a month.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the dream. And I think I look at, when I'm looking at jobs and stuff, I'm like, hey, would you rather hire a contractor or would you rather hire an employee for some of this stuff? And I have a package called Hire a Pro, Not an Employee, for that exact reason. But I feel like that saves companies a lot of money potentially by outsourcing. And like, it could be a job, that's fine, but just know, like, it's, you know, there's parameters on this. You don't get to own my schedule.
Yeah. I think,
I'll just get it done.
I think
Not clocking in and clocking out.
what's good about it from that standpoint is a lot of people get shoehorned into something, and they're like, oh, I'll just do this. And then you get kind of lazy because you're just doing the same thing over and over again. But like, a benefit that I have, to me, a benefit for you here is just like working on so many different projects that you get to see like the efficiencies in some of them and see how much better this is. Like, you wouldn't have necessarily gotten to, I can automate podcasts if you weren't actually doing it.
Yeah.
You know, if we just did 1 or 2 episodes of something, just like do it. But
Yeah,
then you're like,
you just
crap, I gotta
grind through it, as opposed to being like, I do this so often that I need a solution to make this easier.
make it better.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of stuff is very helpful. And so a lot of companies will send people to like conferences and stuff to like go learn something new so that you can apply it here. I think a lot of people miss it, that's why you're doing that. But that's something that, as a small business owner, I haven't got to go to a lot of conferences or things like that. I just try to watch what other people are doing and then steal their ideas or borrow their ideas or whatever.
That was one thing that was cool about talking to this company, was they're like, I told them, I was like, I've never done this for a large company. I've learned from people who say they know how this works. Like, this is like, we're going to be learning how to do large scale content creation for your specific business because you haven't done it before. And I do it for small companies, but never to this scale. And like, they're saying they're spending, 5-6 figures a week on Facebook ads, at certain points. So
that's crazy.
Which is crazy. Which they're like, we're not always seeing an ROI on that. Like, we need to change something up. I was like, I have ideas that we can try, basically, is what I'm telling them.
Yeah.
But they were like, we are a company who likes to help people learn. So, like, if you have conferences you want to go to, if you want to go to, 4Ds for VaynerMedia in New York, like that's stuff we're interested in. So
That's cool.
that would be fun stuff because I like learning, and I like learning in that kind of context too. And I mentioned VCon too. I was like, they have this one conference. I've been to it twice, and it's great, and I learned a lot there. Like, going again would be a good idea. So
That's awesome.
we'll kind of see. They said I'll hear back from them this week, which I imagine will probably be Thursday at the earliest, because Monday's off the table, I'm sure, for them.
I hate being in limbo.
I know, it's awful.
Just tell me yes or no.
I sent them an email Friday afternoon, which is why I got a call. So I was like, hey, just wanting to see how things were going. Because we talked Friday. The initial interview was not last Friday, but the Friday before. Mm-hmm. And then Monday they came back with a number, and I responded. It was like, not quite enough. This is what the median is. And they were like, fair. We're open to talking about the scope of the position and the compensation for it. And then Tuesday, I met with the CEOs and presidents of the company and like the different companies. And then I didn't hear anything the rest of the week. And on the call, they were like, we'll call you if we have any other questions and blah, blah, blah. So like, they were so fast starting off that when it was a few days, I was like, oh crap, what happened?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So that Friday, this last Friday, I was like, hey, just wanting to check in, in a very nice and casual way. And I didn't get a response there, but I got a phone call from one of the co-CEOs, and he was super nice, and he just asked me a bunch of questions. But yeah, it could have been an email of like, we're going in other directions, which is usually the response I get.
Yeah.
So at least it was a positive impression I made on them. We'll kind of see
That's good.
how it goes. But yeah.
Very good. Okay. I got stuff to do.
Me too. I'll probably cut a lot of that out. But I'll end the episode real quick.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. It's episode 3 of Force Focused on the Bricks and Biz podcast, Bricks and Business. Give us a like, a subscribe. Follow us on our social media accounts. We're going to be moving on to the next one. I think we're doing the helmets. I think we're going to do the helmets next. We'll see. But those are a larger set, so we're going to have to bang those out because we are slow on this stuff. But this is a fun set to do. I had a lot of fun. Turned out looking really cool, and these will look cool on the shelf behind us as well. So,
Yes.
what would you rate this set out of 10?
I liked this one better than the police officer one.
Oh, the police officer one was boring.
So
It was fine, and it was contextual to the conversations, but it was boring. Yeah, this is way more fun, and the result is cooler. I would give it, 7 out of 10. It wasn't
7.
phenomenal, but it was fun.
yeah.
And I still had my moments where I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you have
Like,
the,
I got
the
a little
landing
droid.
gear
I have
that
landing
goes up
gears.
and down. That's cool. Mine didn't have that. Mine just had a little hidden compartment.
Landing gears. Yeah, you had a hidden compartment for your lightsaber, which was
Yeah.
cool. Back here. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But cool. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. We'll have another episode posted in 2 weeks of the next round. You guys have a good day.
Good day.